Okay, welcome everybody. Today is August 15th. It is 3:45 p.m. This is a revised agenda. And this is also a remote participation Zoom meeting. It's publicly being recorded for cable broadcast and for YouTube. Call to order.
Patrick McGovern, present.
Joanne Wilson, present.
Paul Pacheco present. Okay, pledge of allegiance. I pledge. Okay. Let's look at the town nurse's inspection report.
Nurse tomorrow is on vacation, so she asked me to read off some of her bullet points from this previous month. At the end of July, she attended the Calvary Kids Family Day. Healing Drop-In Center opened in Freetown. She gave out Narcan and resources to residents that attended. Additional contribution to the Strawberry Vine was about heat safety. She had the first Nurse Nikki's book club meeting. Next meeting will be held October 3rd. And we are currently reading The Discover of Witches by Deb Harkness. Attending Luke's Light Open House, the drop-in center in Berkeley from the Healing Study. Met with Town Accountant Mullen, Jim and Karen from Healing Community Study about Narcan boxes for the Town Hall and Old Town Hall. We now have the boxes. Next step will be training and installation of these boxes. The health department received around 458 health swag bags, including bug spray, sunscreen, survival tool, tick picker, and paper resources. 50 bags were already given to Council on Aging for upcoming end of summer bash. The remaining bags will be distributed at town events. First being the upcoming Firecracker Festival, which I will have a table for the second year.
Thank you. Building Commissioner, please.
Afternoon, board. Afternoon, Dayton. So just a couple things, expanding on what Elizabeth said on behalf of the nurse. I was part of the meeting for NARCAN. That meeting went very well. There seems to be an effort statewide to try and get the municipalities to have the devices in the buildings in the event that, or the unfortunate event that we need them. However, we have possession, but we are going to refrain from putting those up until we have formal training. And that's being set up by Nurse Mello. So that'll be forthcoming. I'm sure we'll have a date eventually, and then we can put it out on the social media, on our website, and then announce it perhaps on our next meeting.
Okay.
The workings of the department are pretty much the same as last report. Everything's going smooth. We're keeping up with inspections. It's still busy, quite busy. Our third-party engineer reviewer is doing an excellent job getting plans back to us within a day, 2 days at the most, with a full report, which, as I said last time, I'm extracting some of the basic information from that and then sending both the engineer's report and a report from the health department on behalf of me to the homeowners and the engineers. And that seems to be well received. Everybody likes the idea of being well informed. So.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Stacy's not here, so we can put that on the back burner until see if she does show up. She doesn't.
Sure.
Okay. All right, time for the interviews. Mr. Aguirre. You want to start with the questions?
Obviously.
I don't think you have enough ink in this thing. Sure. So thank you for coming tonight or this afternoon and showing interest in this position.
Thank you for the opportunity.
So please tell us about yourself, education, work experience, and how you feel this has prepared you for the position. The right one? Yeah, Board of Health agent for the town of Dayton.
Sure. Including my resume, I actually gave you a lengthy sort of synopsis about who I am, where I came from, and what I'm looking to do in life. Basically, it's somewhat simple, although it can appear complicated at times. I like to get up in the morning, love what I do. I want to be able to love to come to work. I think that the environment that both Dayton and myself have created checks that box. I hope that this position, if I'm successfully appointed, will continue in that tract. I think it will be, I wouldn't say difficult, but it's going to be very time consuming, at least for the next 12 to 18 months, in order to put the systems in place that were never put in place when the Board of Health was split from the Board of Selectmen. But I guess you can say better late than never, and I think I am both experienced enough, educated enough, and enthusiastic about meeting those challenges. I've been working in municipal service for almost 20 years. I worked on mostly in the building professions. However, I do have a health background. That background has afforded me the opportunity to work in several municipalities directly for boards of health or health departments, and that's been in various capacities, either as a consultant, plan reviewer, and as a health agent. And I've been appointed as a health agent with the Board of Health for my entire employment here, which is almost 13 years.
Okay, very good. Anything more on that question? Okay, please describe any past experience you have working with local Board of Health and or Mass Department of Public Health. I know you already talked about that.
On that a little bit in my first question. I can tell you that along with that, there has been training in those disciplines. I've had minimum housing training, Title V training, very little food training. That didn't seem to be something that I was leaned on in the past for. So that would probably be my biggest or weakest point, I would say. But all said, in serving in the capacities that I have, as I mentioned earlier, that all required certifications and trainings, some of which I still have today.
Okay, very good. Joanne?
So what areas would you say you excel in and what areas would you say you need to improve in?
I think my customer service skills are excellent. The reason for that is every person that I speak to at that particular moment, whether it be on the phone or at my counter or at my desk, is that moment. And that means I can't do any more to help them. That's sort of a trait that I've had since I became a municipal servant. I think that's what makes me a happy child. Or at least makes my office one that people aren't really resistant. They understand that when they come in, whether they like the answer or not, they're going to get an answer, and it's going to be the right answer. I think with the health department that will carry on. There are similarities. The regulations are slightly differing in some aspects, but we're still here to serve the people. I think those attributes will migrate over to the health department, and quite frankly, the health department needs that type of customer service mindset. Elizabeth has brought that to the table, and I think if I'm successful, then I would do the same, obviously. What was the second part of the question?
And what areas do you think you need to improve?
Improve, okay. So it's ironic that that question comes up now, because if you asked me a year ago.
I did it to me today, it was like, one more time. You can get lost. I'm hoping the next 2 days, I'm gonna get back to work.
Karen, can you hit mute?
She muted.
Yep.
I'm sorry, are you talking to me?
Yeah, you guys aren't muted.
I didn't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
All right, you guys weren't on mute, so we can hear you.
Okay. You say you need my video on?
Your video is on.
Okay,
Karen, can you please mute yourself so we don't hear everybody in the office?
yes, I was muted, but you were talking to me,
Oh, okay,
okay?
Thank you.
thank you. So, if you asked me 12, 18 months ago, I would say that it was, the way that I worked with some of my colleagues. Because I take my job extremely seriously. I take the responsibilities of serving the people seriously. And if I see any sense of malfeasance or any sense of neglect on the side of serving the customers, especially the taxpayers, I was very outspoken about that. Not that it still isn't important to me. However, I think over the last 12 or 18 months, I've learned that there's a little bit different approach that you can use, and you would still be able to get to the same end result. So that's something that I've been working on over the last year.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Patrick, you want to, well,
Sure. Should you be selected for the position, or what would you do on your first day?
So doing this on an acting level over the past several weeks, I've only been able to maintain the current workload for the department. I haven't really had a chance to be preemptive or proactive in making changes or recommending changes to the board. So the first day I would prioritize what I think needs to be done now that I've lived it, breathed it, experienced it for the past several weeks. And I have compiled a list and prioritize that list so that we would efficiently and effectively implement any of those changes that need to be made. Some of those changes are simple operational changes, and some of them that we're going to require input by you three. And I would encourage the three of you to not just embrace what I put forward, but also dissect it to make sure it's best for the department. I understand what the department needs to run, but you three all have to answer to the taxpayers. So I want to make sure we do this collectively. But that would start from day one. And I'm looking forward to that. If I'm successful, I haven't been able to work on the fee structure, fee schedule, some of the other requirements. I want to look at DM inspectors now that we may have a health inspector. So there's a few things that I want to work on.
well, all right. Although extremely rare, individual appointed to the Board of Agent must make a commitment, available emergencies, other circumstances that require their prompt attention. Do you feel there's enough flexibility in your schedule to be able to meet this commitment?
Yes, I don't see it changing from what I currently offer. I've been woken up in the middle on many occasions, both for building and health related issues. So I don't see that changing. I will say that if there are weekend inspections, I would like those to be done by the health inspector. If they're available. If not, then I would certainly fill in what I can. But I would like to try to get away from the routine inspections as much as I can and work more on the operational side of things.
Okay. Go ahead.
I have a question that goes along with my question. With your hours in the building department and then this additional job, is there enough hours in the day for that for you?
Yes, there is. I typically work a 10 to 12 hour day now,
Okay,
4 days a week.
okay,
So what this will probably do is, and I've done some restructuring in my office to help prepare for this, or else we wouldn't be standing here today and I wouldn't have applied for it. But what this is probably going to do is require me to do a little bit more work on Fridays, which I can do. My life is structured and such that I could fit that in. I'm not going to, this needs to be sustainable. It doesn't need to be exhausting and burnout. I do think after the initial 12, 18 months, things will be pretty smooth. Just as my department needed dedication when I first took over, eventually we get the right people in the right places, the right systems in place. My office runs pretty well. So I think initially it'll be a little bit of additional work, but you know, as long as things are progressing, then I'm confident there'll be a light at the end of it.
Okay, Patrick,
I think that was it.
uh,
Do you have any questions for us?
I do. Do you have anything specifically that you'd like to see from a director?
I think maybe
run
some,
the operation smoothly.
Like, there's a lot of things that just need to be prioritized. To your point with your list of stuff, you know, we need to get the fee structures updated. We need to get the permits online. We need to bring some organization back to it, just daily oversight.
And over the past couple of weeks, have you all been comfortable with the way things are running?
Yes,
I haven't gotten one phone call, so.
you have it?
Ironically, neither have I, which is a good thing.
Mhm.
Because if I don't get them, then that means we're doing something right. If I get them and don't share them with you, then we'll still have a problem, but we don't have any.
Right.
Elizabeth, I don't think we've had any complaints, correct?
Okay, no other questions?
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, okay, review, discuss and act the appointment of the health. Do you have any discussion, Patrick, on it?
No,
No discussion.
Would you care to make a motion, yes or no?
sure. If that's the case, then I move to appoint, Mr. Aguirre to Health Director.
Okay, a second,
I second that.
vote,
Aye.
okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll count on you. Okay, Heather. You ready for your questions? Well.
Welcome.
Okay, you go first.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank you for taking the time to apply. So please tell us about yourself, your educational background and how you feel this has prepared you for the health agent.
So right now I work at Baker's Bank. But in the past, I've done childcare for years, which I worked with the state with all their compliances and everything. I went to Johnson and Wales for baking. So I got a certificate for ServSafe, I got to do all their sanitation. And so I dealt with possible, whatever can come up on it with that. But, and I hate germs.
Okay,
Promise.
please describe any past experience you have working with a local board of health and Mass Department of Public Health.
When I take care, state doing, making sure everything was on compliance, food safety, sanitation, all my classes that I had to take. And
You still hold your ServSafe?
it's expired, but I still have it.
I mean, is that,
I still have the certificate, I just would have to take a refresher.
okay, so that's something you gotta work on, okay. All right, Joanne?
This position requires the fair and unbiased application of public health statutes, regulations, policies, and town bylaws. Enforcement may become a problem with some restaurants, homeowners, businesses, for example. What skills do you have that would enable you to effectively deal with the residents who do not agree with you?
In dealing with customers every day, you have to tell them answers that they don't like. You just have to stay calm, collected, and explain it in a way that they would understand it. Like, if I don't understand it, how are they gonna understand it? So I just try to explain to them, the policies and procedures that are in place for a particular reason, and this is how we deal with it.
Thank you.
Okay, Patrick?
Although extremely rare, individuals appointed as Board of Health agent must make a commitment to be available for emergencies or other circumstances that require their prompt attention. Do you feel there's enough flexibility in your schedule to be able to meet these commitments?
Yes. Seconds down the street, and I put my job number one priority. If I can't, I would try to obviously make other arrangements.
All right. There are many Boston's, public health that are outlined in the job description that requires basic understanding of food preparation, public health, emergency preparation, community sanitation, minimum housing standards, animal control, stormwater, landfill, swimming pools, septic systems. Please describe any experience, training, or certificates that you may now hold or have held in the past.
Again, serve safe. I would love to take more courses to get more certificates for everything that I would need to help me do the job to the best of my ability.
So you're willing to get whatever certifications that we need?
Yes.
Okay. Joanne?
Do you have any questions for us?
Oh, no, oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
No questions for us?
No, that's what I can think of at this moment.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Good.
Here for the questions? All right, so now, C,
Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Heather.
thank you. Review, discuss, and act the appointment of the health agent, Heather.
I'll try and do it.
I motion that we appoint Heather Gennard as our health agent.
Second.
Aye,
Aye.
Aye.
okay, that carries. And you're appointed.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
All right. Now trash bags. You will discuss, Jim and I have looked at the trash bags and the problem is that where they steam them, I'm not sure if they're gluing them or hot pressing them. Some of them have a very thin line, some of them are wide. The ones with thin line, they break. We currently just ordered a supply, just a hold of solar, we were running out. And Elizabeth had said they were gonna give us an extra box to replace any. And we still need to get more quotes and find out exactly which bags that we wanna go. But as of right now, I think we're safe as far as the amount of bags that we have. And
How long will those hold us over?
would you say, Elizabeth, those are gonna hold us over how long?
4 months,
4 months.
And how far ahead do we have to order these?
3 to 5 weeks. If we continue using the same vendor we have,
And what if we order from a new vendor?
I put in the quotes in the packet, so.
Does it say how long the turnaround is for the new companies?
There's the price in there. Lead time, well, we. Dictated on information. One of the companies said that they could not meet that. Scope, so they declined to even put in an offer, so the only thing, location of that was wasting their. Company. So Mansfield is a 4 to 6 week lead time. And waste 0. It's just a fun.
Yeah, they didn't. I reviewed that. I wasn't sure what that was.
I think we need to get some more information on this. Actually make a decision next meeting.
Sure, I mean, I thought we were, have we gotten all the quotes that we've gotten? Like,
Well, we've gotten some, but I think there's.
We have 3 quotes, right?
That we
Or one refused?
One refused, so we have.
Yes.
Okay.
right, but we solicited 3.
Yeah.
3 quotes.
Right, and we only got 2.
Hmm.
We only got 2, and there's a good possibility that we can get more.
Jim?
If I may.
Yes.
So I would like to briefly discuss with the board the option of going back after the next solid waste committee meeting. Because one of the reasons to get trash bags 4 months down the road, which the last order we did, is to see if solid waste committee wants to explore other options. We can't get rid of the pay as you throw program. Obviously, it's a revenue source that offsets some of the costs of the trash removal. However, there might be some other options available to us other than trash bags that still meet the revenue requirements, but maybe take the trash bags off the table. I'm not saying that that's gonna be the way we go. I just like a chance to discuss it with the solid waste committee. And then I can come back at the next meeting with more details before we place another order at another tune of $40,000, I think. I think it should just at least be discussed.
Right,
I think that's a good idea.
okay,
Also give the vendors a discount,
right, which should be another,
price to the vendors, not the residents, but.
Yeah, there are a lot of options, I think, that need to be flushed out. And we plan to do that, or at least I plan to present that at the next solid waste committee on behalf of the health department.
I honestly think for quotes, we're as far into this as we're gonna be. This is the third meeting that we've talked about quotes, so we're into 3 months. If people haven't put in a request, then we're gonna move on. I mean, if you want to wait till solid waste commission meets, that's fine. But I think we need to make a decision after that because 4 to 6 weeks
yeah,
could turn into 8 to 12 weeks and we need to get something going.
I completely agree with you. That was one of the reasons for doing the order the way we did, which we've already received. Because that bought us a little bit of time, before we went and committed the town to another year's worth of trash bags if there was some option, on the other option on the table. And I don't have all the answers right now. That's why it has to go to the solid waste committee.
Did the people that submitted RFPs, did they send samples?
I did.
Okay.
Have it
Are
down.
we okay with any of them? Any concerns with either one?
Met the criterion that we sent out, yes. There was some colored bag options that we really haven't had a chance to discuss. But we could, I think with the report at the next meeting coming out of solid waste, we can also discuss that if the trash bags are still on the table, then I think we should bring the samples up, discuss them in earnest, spend a little bit of time, and then make a decision. And as I said, right now, I don't have all the answers. I just want to explore other options, especially when we've had failures in bags as of recent.
okay. Any more discussion?
Thank you.
Elizabeth, I think on the new business, that probably was a repeat. Because it's saying the health department interview candidates, which we've already done.
Actually, since we're going through it anyways, there was something I was gonna try to clarify. And now that, Selectman Hall is here, might be able to help us. For Mr. Aguirre, do we need to meet with you?
A message from Mike Mullen.
Okay.
Oh, you?
Sure.
Because the town bylaw states that you cannot have a person serve as a director of 2 departments. It's going to be necessary to create the position of director of inspectional services. And so there'll be a title change. And the Board of Selectmen will have to vote on that. The second thing is if you would send a letter, and I'll see that it gets on the agenda for the next meeting. To appoint Mr. Aguirre as the director of inspectional service.
We already did. Well, we didn't,
No.
we didn't do inspection services.
Understand. So you're gonna send a letter to us to make the appointment of that position.
Right.
Yes, as far as
Now,
Heather is concerned, that's done. What you did today, that doesn't come before us,
okay,
okay? That's according to Mike.
so are you saying that, Mr. Aguirre is still, filling in? He's not,
Mr. Aguirre is until we meet interim.
okay,
Now, Mr. Mullen is on vacation this week. Our meeting is next Wednesday.
You're wondering when my first day, when I'm like, hit the ground running is, it'll be tomorrow,
right,
okay? But
But you're already.
I'm already thinking, yeah.
right.
The only thing that I'm not sure is how that affects pay.
That's minor.
Yeah, we already had a meeting with Peter.
He's gonna just continue doing
Yeah.
what he's doing and he'll get a title change, basically.
Yeah, we discussed that with Peter and Mike.
Yeah, so if you could just, you voted, send a letter expressing what you did today. We'll put it on the agenda and we'll be voting for it.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Hull.
All right. Now. Review, discuss and act the role of the health agent. Your questions?
I don't,
No, I think we've covered that.
Well, I think that we're going to need to,
That was put on there so we could discuss, the needs,
right, That-
priorities.
that's what I was just gonna say. We haven't come up with all of the guidelines of what certifications we want her to have, and which ones are not necessary. I don't know if we should have a workshop for that.
I thought that was built into the job description, wasn't it?
The job description was kind of vague. This was-
I agree. The job description does indicate them. I would just think because, is Heather okay? Because Heather, left some of the certifications, I would like to prioritize them based on the needs of the department. So that we can go and get them in the order that would be the most benefit to the health department. So if you'd like, I can look at that tomorrow, now that the appointment's been made. And then, report back to the board on which order I think they need to be, and then you can give your input on it. If that makes sense.
And I would even entertain you reviewing it and then just sending the board an email as a recommendation as the, the head of the department as to what your feelings are. And if anybody replies to Elizabeth and has concerns, we can do it the next meeting. If nobody has concerns, then I think we can just move forward. I want to try to eliminate the, let's put this off and have a discussion at the next meeting. Like, I want to start going forward.
Right.
We've made a lot of progress in the past couple of months, and I think we need to keep going.
No, I agree, that's fine. And those decisions are gonna be made based on permit counts, inspection requirements and requests. So it'll be done in a systematic way to help serve the people the best way we can. So yeah, I would do that. But I would like to add, because this is a 25-hour position. I have seen the needs in the department firsthand now for a month. Elizabeth has lived them for a few months now, but I think that the hours should be 4 days a week from the start time, which is the time town hall opens, until, equate it 25 divided by 4, and that's the hours.
Well, let's see, go 24 divided, but we could have 6 hours, 7 hours on Wednesday.
Right.
And then,
Yeah, I just.
because we're open later on Wednesday.
Discussion to see if the board agrees, disagrees, and we can flush that out. I understand from some of our brief discussions that would be amicable. Okay, and then if there are weekend inspections, because those don't pop up unless they're emergencies, then the health agent will flex the time accordingly. And then be able to work on for the weekend inspections. So I thought that would be a good way. Mornings seem to be the busiest in the office, so having the extra help in the morning would be great. So that's the only thing I'd like to establish is I would like the hours to be from 7:30, 6 hours a day with one exception of Wednesday,
Right.
7 hours. That's the long day, so that makes sense.
Yeah. And one other question we didn't ask, Heather. When can you start?
I'd have to give the bank at least 2 weeks notice.
Okay,
I don't wanna leave them all together, but still work somehow with it.
and whatever you do in your personal time, is your personal time. So can you give us an estimated date of,
We're in the middle of the month, so 1st of September.
Yeah.
What date is that fall on?
24th, which is a holiday. So
So-
September 1st is a Friday, we're not open, so she'd have to come.
So is that sort of the day after the holiday work for you?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
all right, so starting date will be
The 5th.
the day after the holiday?
Yep.
Okay, Okay, now to review, discuss act, appointment of Costa as the additional burial agent. You have any discussion on that?
No.
Do you have any discussion? I had some discussion with Mr. Mullen yesterday. And according to him, there should be only one health agent. And, I mean, health agent, one burial agent. And anybody in his department can, in the clerk's department, can make us give up the certificates. I know that we had made you part of a additional burial agent also. They're still trying to work out fine tune of what it is. So I'd like to see her get appointed. However, it might change. I mean, she'll still be there. When they get the wording all set, it might change a little bit.
Fine.
Okay. So,
So we need to make a motion to appoint her.
yes,
Okay, so I'll make a motion to appoint Shara Costa as the additional burial agent.
I second that motion.
Aye.
okay. Okay, health department signatures. Do we have a sheet here?
This is the one that you have to sign.
Thank you.
Welcome. Did you use the link?
Did you see one of these? Okay. So, me as the chairman, Patrick, Joanne, Jim, and Elizabeth, will be able to sign things that are normal bills, anything that, is special requests, will have to go in front of the vote. You know, before I decide.
Mhm.
Is you okay with the list?
So who does this allow to vote on Board of Health?
Was not vote.
I mean, I'm sorry, sign for Board of Health? Shouldn't it be just the three of us?
So it allows,
No.
so Jim can sign, like Jim and Elizabeth can sign bills and payroll as needed.
If we're not-
Anything big would have to get voted on us to spend the money that's not like common stuff we spend the money on. And it lists an initial signature, which is usually the chairman, and then just whoever's listed as a backup, but it also authorizes, like when we didn't have the office manager, we had authorized Todd to be able to sign certain things as needed. So it just lists who can sign
Okay,
when needed.
thank you for explaining that.
Okay, let me get this signed here. So, you want to make a motion that we accept this list?
Yeah, so I'll make a motion to accept the updated signatures list as seen right there.
I second.
Aye.
Okay. All right, so give me a moment to sign it, and we can all get the signatures going here. Sign it. File it. So we need to copy. Okay, so Stacy's not here. And Patrick, you were part of the workshop. Elizabeth?
Yep.
So can you fill us in on?
Sure. So we had a workshop 2 weeks ago. It was myself, Stacy and Elizabeth. Stacy cracked the whip and really, buttoned down the hatches. We got a lot of work done. Basically, a lot of it was just suggestions that we've had in place unofficially with the town for a while. However, this just gives Stacy, or the animal control officer, I should say, the ability to just kind of have the wording and the backing of the Board of Health if she needs to enforce things. Like I said, a lot of this stuff has, we've compared it to similar towns, similar sizes, similar state recommendations. A lot of this isn't anything different from any of the other local towns that are surrounding us. Not a lot. I don't think anything has changed from what the understanding is with the animal control officer that we've had in place in Dayton. We just haven't had it all. It's been scattered amongst a couple of different records here or there, or a couple of different things. So we just kind of brought it all together. Made this kind of an active document. So if we have, like I brought in a lot of appendixes with the current, like the kennel regulations that we came out with. A lot of the stuff that we've had in separate areas, the idea is to kind of keep this as like a living document where if we have something else that needs to change for anything to do with animals in the town, it just stays in this record. So if we need to addend anything, we're just gonna amend anything, we're gonna do it to this record. And that way, we can continue on with the appendixes as needed. We can change things as needed. But one thing Stacy did say when we're talking, we were meeting was that, they had a regulation on pigs, which was its own thing, and a regulation on cattle, which was its own thing. And it's, it just makes sense to bring it all together. So it's under one document, it's one reference point, and it's easier for the animal control officer to reference just that one document.
Is this anything like the fees that we have to announce it 3 times, or we just vote on it today and then it's a done?
I don't know. I think we could just vote on it because none of the fees had changed. I think the only thing that we changed actually was the only fee that we changed was we added in like a written warning. So it's not necessarily a fee. It's more of like and that was honestly because of, I hate to say like the kind of generation that we live in, where if you don't document, it never happened.
Right.
And the last thing we want any of our, anybody get involved in as well, you let that person off with a warning. I knew you were there last week or something like that. It just kind of prefaced that everything is going to be documented. So if she goes out to a residence and talks to a resident about it and needs to issue something, it needs to be written. So we kind of got rid of the verbal warning and kind of made it just a verbal written warning.
Right, so if we approve this, then it go on the website, that should be sufficient.
I believe so. Elizabeth didn't say anything other than that, right? Yeah, because I don't think we didn't change any of the fees. The fees have been in place.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
Oh, I think it was written very well.
Okay, can I get a motion?
I make a motion that we accept the regulations as written here for the keeping of animals in the town of Dayton.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, now review and discuss additional health department soil evaluator. Jim, can you have a lot more knowledge on this. Could you give us some insight of what your thoughts are?
Yes, so as everyone knows, Title V is probably the most demanding item for the health department in this town. So it's obvious that we should have people who are qualified and knowledgeable in that field. Currently, to my knowledge, I'm the only soil evaluator employed by the town. It just so happens I'm now a member of the department, so that's a bonus. So initially, we would have the ability to cover the town perk tests. What I mean by that is you don't need to be a soil evaluator to witness a perk test. However, if a waiver is going to be requested, especially on a septic repair, then the individual witnessing the perk test on behalf of the municipality needs to have soil evaluator certification. So obviously, I've been covering that base. It's been manageable. I don't have an issue with it thus far. But it would be good for there to be another person who has soil evaluation certification and is also a member of the board of health or the health department. So that being said, I understand that there was an interest by one of the board members to get that certification, and I appreciate that. We also have a health agent now, which we didn't have. So I guess the discussion needs to ensue about do we need one? Do we need two? How are we gonna try to fit that bill? For now, it's okay. I do have some vacation time coming up. Obviously, this isn't gonna happen overnight, but going to the longevity part of what I said earlier, it would be good for us to have an additional soil evaluator under the health department auspice.
Now, what about making it optional for the person who's requesting the perk test? If they know their land's good and it's an area that they're pretty firm that they're not gonna have to have a waiver. Do they have to pay for a soil evaluator, or can they just go with a witness?
Well, that would be up to the department and how well we want the department to be represented out in the field. I like the person who's representing the department to at least have the same knowledge as the engineer performing the test. That way here, we make sure that the homeowner is well represented. I'm not saying to any engineer out there that you would do anything improperly. However, it's good to have the health department on the side of the homeowner, making sure that the engineer is doing their job. That doesn't mean you need a certification to have those qualifications. There are a lot of people who've dug a lot of holes, who know what soils look like, who don't need to have a soil evaluator's license. So to answer your question directly, it wouldn't be required. I would just want to make sure the person who's witnessing perks, if it were me, had the knowledge of soils and understood what they were looking at. If it's not a repair perk, meaning if it's a new construction, then waivers are not allowed for new construction. So it would only be a repair perk that we'd have the question of whether or not a licensed soil evaluator would need to be witnessing that perk test.
So you're saying on new construction, it wouldn't have to be a soil evaluator?
That's correct.
And according to your permits, do we get more new construction or repairs?
Well, right now, with the water moratorium, we get more repairs. New construction is pretty much non-existent right now.
Really?
I've issued maybe 3 or 4 new construction permits this year. Whereas 6 years ago, I was doing 50 permits a year. So right now, it's mostly repairs. So the chance for a waiver request is higher percentile than what it would be if it were just new construction. Now, I'm thinking as I'm talking here, if I'm in town and we have someone else witnessing the perk test, and it's determined that a waiver might be required, I certainly can run out there and cover the bases to make sure that the water table is looked at on the town side by a soil evaluator. But the long-term goal, I think, for the town would be to try to get a secondary certified soil evaluator.
Now, the fee that we charge, does that cover a third party?
No, it does not. We do have the third-party option for a soil evaluator with our review engineer. But right now, the fee structure as it is, is not covering the bases. We really have to look at that. I actually, to put it right out there, that would be one of the first things I look at. Just to make sure that we address that in the next couple of meetings, so we can get that sorted out, so local revenues start to reflect our costs.
What is the cost of having a third party come out to do?
I believe it was a $100 per hour and 4-hour minimum.
Okay, so that's the size of around $400. If somebody's going for repair and they don't feel that they need a soil evaluator, or because they don't feel they need a waiver, I think we should have 2 different structures so that they don't have to pay the same price as they pay to have a soil evaluator there.
Okay, I see your point. I want to make sure that our fee structure isn't so cumbersome that it's interpretive. I would like to make it so it's pretty consistent, so people know what they expect to pay. Especially since maybe we'll start off with someone who's not certified, but eventually a certification may come through. And we'll always have somebody with a soil evaluator's license out on a perk test, regardless of whether it's needed or not. I think ultimately the health department should strive for that goal.
Right.
But I would rather see, I appreciate your concern for looking out for the taxpayer and the developers, but I feel that a more consistent fee structure, that's, people know what the price is better than a structured fee schedule. That's just my humble opinion, so.
Okay, so that's gonna be one of the first things you're gonna be working on.
Yes,
Okay,
on the fee structure, yes. It's gonna take.
well, the fee structure and who you feel should be certified. You can bring that to the board.
So which member of the health department should be certified? Oh, okay, I see what you're saying, now that we've appointed a health agent.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess I could, if that's what you're asking.
okay.
Yeah, honestly, Heather, with respect, I really don't know, what your capabilities are, so I wouldn't want to commit you to that. That, if that's what you're suggesting, I would need some time to understand that, yes.
Okay, well, you've got till September 1st anyways, because I mean, the whole, she won't even be here. So then. Anything else to add,
Not Tad, I'm here for questions.
Patrick? Joanne?
So I have, when I was interviewed for this position, it was known that I had taken a class in soils, which wasn't a certification class, so I can't do the perk test yet. But I was told, go ahead and take the class.
Right,
So I put in a packet and put in a request for payment from the Board of Health. And I guess I'm just asking if that can be discussed or voted on.
Well, no, we can't vote on it.
I mean, I could step down if need be for that vote.
No, well, we can't vote on it because we've only got it for review and discuss. We don't have to act on it. And I'm not sure that we should.
Okay, so if just
Well,
like,
hold on a minute, I get the point. I'm not sure that this is relevant to what we're talking about right now. This is something that's personal that you have said that somebody told you to get it. I don't remember the board ever discussing it at all. Patrick, do you have anything, you ever came across the board?
Think we're kind of on two different things right now.
Right, so it's not on.
why it was put on the agenda.
Well, it's not on the agenda. So what's on the agenda is just discuss the additional health department soil evaluator, which Jim has already explained that that's what we're gonna do. Talking about other things like fact of going to get money, whatever, it's not on the agenda, so I don't think that we should be talking about it.
So initially, I did ask Elizabeth to put this on the agenda for me, and there is a packet that goes along with it to talk about the course. If I don't take this course, which is due to start September 12th, then it won't be until the spring. And there is no other class for anybody until the spring. So I'm trying to get this in last minute with the approval of the board. Like I said, I'm willing to step down so that we can get this in on time. I did speak to the town administrator as well as the accountant and found the procedure. I spoke with Elizabeth about it that day, about what needs to go through in order to make that happen. And the first step was to come to the board and bring it to a vote, whether you want to send me to this class for September 12th, or if we're going to wait as a health board until spring for it to happen.
Again, it's not on the agenda for discussion. And Mr. Aguirre just said he's gonna be looking into the structures. When we have a health agent, it might be the health agent that we have for soil evaluator. And if we were to appoint a member of the board to be a soil evaluator, they wouldn't be able to do any soil evaluations in Dayton unless they're doing it for free.
For the town, which is the whole point of going to the class, to do it for the town.
Right. And there would be no additional pay because but
That's understood.
as we just discussed, we haven't made a decision yet on who is gonna be.
Okay, so this has been a topic tonight. So we discussed to add another soil evaluator, which we can discuss and you've shown interest in it. You know, we have a new Board of Health agent as well, but you know, we have somebody with experience in it that shows interest in it. I mean, I'm for the idea of things, when we're talking about it. I don't think we can approve the funds because it wasn't, I didn't know we were approving funds for this. You know, flipping through this, my only concern is the fact that the fee structure in here or the cost in here is $800. And I think our training line item budget is only 1,000. So my concern with discussing this issue is what do we need for training purposes for our new Board of Health agent?
Right. Because we only have $1,000 to work with.
I'm not against any of this. It would, I believe, and I would have to find out what the writing is, it would need to be a vote for specific cost.
You can put in a request through the town administrator, through a purchase order out of the reserve fund. If it's deemed a need of the board
Right.
or the health department.
And what Patrick just said is, we haven't decided, we've only $1,000 in our budget to work with. And there's a lot of cost that the new health agent is gonna. So, and like I said, this is just for discussion right now. And as Mr. Aggie has stated, he has to look in to see what certifications are needed for the health agent. And it's not going to be voted on tonight. This is just discussion. Once we get the report next month from Mr. Aguirre, and we can put it on and discuss which person we decide.
Sure, thank you.
So I just want to make sure I understand. Obviously, you're interested in obtaining the certification. We've had this discussion before. Your background qualified you for it. So I think just expanding upon the chairman's, we have a health agent now. We didn't know what certifications or certificates our health agent would have.
Mhm.
We now have one, thankfully, and we now need to evaluate those needs. We also have to look at the health department as a whole, and what does the health department need to bring us into the future? I'm not saying you're a part of that, I'm not saying you're not a part of that, I just think collectively, we all need to look at it. It may be where we have multiple people who are certified, or I don't have to go out on purpose. We don't know the answer to this yet. As far as a reserve fund transfer, that's a little more complicated than that. I'm sure Mike did say that. But we would have to deficit spend right now, which would have to go through the account, and then we'd have to.
Right, no, I understand that.
Finance Committee approval, so there's a process for that.
Yeah.
We also have other certifications that we need to make sure the health agent has, in her pocket, so that when she goes out, she's at least equally as trained as the people she's inspecting. So that's again, part of the prioritization. Right now, I don't want to put more work on myself. Right now, we're covered. We're not, putting anybody in a position where they can't get waivers. But I think we need to look at this from a wholesome perspective, and I appreciate your interest in doing it.
Okay, thank you.
And also, we'll have to look into if anybody else has interest in it.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Any more discussion?
no, thank you.
Okay. All right,
Thank you, Jim.
approval of the minutes for July 20th of 2023. Meeting,
I make a motion to approve the minutes for July 20th, 2023.
I second the motion.
Aye.
Aye.
and to approve the minutes of June 20th, 2023, regular meeting.
I make a motion to approve the minutes for June 20th, 2023.
Second the motion.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, can I get a motion for adjournment?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned at 44.